Hey y'all, Cedric here. Gonna do a little bit of this, a little bit of that today. Move some stuff there. So, I went ahead and extended my sale, and I'm putting some new stuff up today. Some sticks, everything, 20% off. And I'm also, after I show you a couple new things here, I'm going to do a little bit of seated stick work. Ninja XTX, my buddy there, Eric, he asked me to do more videos, so I'm going to do that. Try to anyway. I get busy, it happens. So, first off, I'm going to show you the product here. Two things that are going up. The Dracula's Dirge fighting stick, the final resin treatment, all cured, ready to rock and roll. Double monkey's fist on the end, made of 1/4" nylon, and then 1/4" nylon rope, black nylon, and 3/16" kern mantle rope. Really wicked, really hard hitter. Lightweight, just a little over a pound. Heavier than equivalent oak. This will sink in water. It's about the same as ironwood for specific gravity, weight, like that. And I finally bought a scale, so I'll go ahead and weigh this and get the exact weight up with the ad for it. And this will be going on my website. Then, now this one's slightly heavier. It's made with the 1/4" polyester rope, and the head is a double monkey's fist, all black. Also has these three sticks right here have the 3/8" semi-rigid core, strong enough to be used as a walking stick, but you got that good flex and just insane strength. 100,000 PSI on the tensile strength. This one is heavier than this one. The Atwood rope is very lightweight, and this is all Atwood rope. Purple and green, the Riddler's Revenge. This one is more lightweight. This one is noticeably heavier, and I'll get those weights up. And this one is slightly heavier than this one. So the black one will be the heaviest of all, but still 3/8" polymer core. Yeah, double monkey's fist. Really tough. Excellent for your one-handed fighting technique, whatever you're gonna do. Really moves fast. The balance points on these sticks are pretty good, pretty groovy. You've got that extra weight down there at the end, and you've got the Paracaras up, and those, just like I said, 20% off everything. Now we're going to work on a little bit of I'm going to work more today on the thought processes that should go along with any self-defense. Alright, I using a little irritating air quotes there, because my belief in self-defense isn't I'm just gonna sit here and let you come at me. It's not gonna be like that, because in real life you can't really dodge every punch. If you feel threatened, then you have the right to defend yourself, however that whatever form that defense may take. So you are entitled to a life without fear. It is your right. So when you're chair bound, if you're seated, if you're for whatever reason that may be, degenerative nerve disorder, injury, this, that, the other. There's a lot of reasons why we might be seated. I sit down a lot, you know, and we're not always going to have these perfect sets of circumstances that the gym, the dojos give us. So we need to think outside that box when it comes to the defense of our persons. Alright? So, our attackers are never courteous. They do not come at us one at a time, and they do not just come at us from the front. Alright? So if we can all agree on that, then we can take a step forward from there. So we've got attackers, you know, and if it's a single attacker, they're not just going to come in here and give us that perfect angle of attack. They're not going to be courteous. Alright? So we need to be prepared for their movement. Now, what kind of a chair are we in? Is it a wheeled chair? Is it a solid chair like I'm in right now? What are my strengths from this position? Alright? Am I most strong forward? You know, and then a little less strong if I'm at, you know, northwest, northeast, you know, northwest, northeast. My strengths get less as we go out here, and once we get to east and west, you know, or west and east, then, you know, I'm getting weaker as far as offense and defense goes. And then behind me, that's just really bad, you know. That's where I don't want anybody. So if I'm in a wheeled chair, a mobile chair, then I have some options there if my attacker circles, right? And I tried what my friend Trader Joe's mentioned. I called up a couple of the fire departments around here. No joy. They would not loan me a chair or even let me come there and film. They always got some rigmarole, malarkey excuses. So anyway, until I can get us a wheelchair, I'm kind of stuck here pantomiming. So in the traditional wheelchairs, they have large wheels here. We grasp this wheel to my left, and if I push that forward, then that makes the one wheel turn. Now, I believe that if you're not holding the other wheel static, you're going to roll forward and right, not just a perfect right hand turn. This wheel won't remain static. So it's going to require more effort to get us to be able to circle with that attacker. But if that attacker is circling to our right, then that's what we're going to want to do. You know, we're going to want to keep whatever we have. If it's a bare hand, our stick, whatever it is, we want to keep that handy, keep that right there. Now, on a wheelchair, you know, you really can have a nice scabbard system back here. My recommendation is going to be that you have some kind of retention on that that's going to make it where it's not just an easy pull out for someone that's maybe going to come up behind you. You know, like if someone's wanting to prank or whatever, you want that to have some resistance at the bottom. I'd recommend, you know, maybe a bungee cord wrapped around that scabbard, not so tight that you can't drag your stick loose, but tight enough so that it's going to give you some notice that someone's trying to grab that, and you can get your hand back on it and turn, you know. So that would be a good spot. So we push forward, we're trying to circle. Now I'm going to say that you need to be able to do both things at once, okay? Circle and strike and try and keep them off of you, because just letting them go on the attack puts you on a permanent defense. You know, you don't want to be stuck there. We don't want to be stuck behind the castle walls, alright? We want our army out here, because defense means that they are making all the decisions, alright? We don't want that. We don't want them choosing our battleground. So we need to have some offense while we're circling. I'm turning this wheel, I'm trying to keep my stick up, I'm trying to do something, okay? Now, if you're in a motorized chair, that gives you a lot more options, because you've got the joystick, correct? A little joystick that allows you to turn, so you're going to be a lot smoother lot smoother on that turn. But that's something that you'll want to practice, alright? Don't just wait until it's go time. You need to be ready for that. Which way are they circling, you know? And just keep that stick moving. Or knife, or impact device, whatever you've got, you know? You really want to be able to have reach. You don't want to let them in close, because, you know, what did Clint Eastwood say? A person's got to know their limitations, right? You're not going to want to grapple. You're in a chair, and you're in a chair for a reason. You have something going on that keeps you from being 100% mobile without that chair. So let's face that limitation and work it into our schema. So how are we going to play to your strengths? By not letting them get a hold of you. Because now what happens, alright? Again, you are not going to have perfect circumstances. Nothing will ever be the perfect circumstances when it comes to these situations. You must not allow them to get a hold of you, pull you out of your chair. Because now what? Now it's green light. They're just going to kick you to death. Alright? That's why I don't hit the ground. Hitting the ground is bad news. So keep them off of you. Stick. Rock and roll. It gives you reach. You need to keep them back. Don't let them get where they can reach you. Okay? Anything that gives you that edge. I don't care if it's a couple extra inches of reach. Okay? Tear their knuckles up. Tear their hands apart. Whatever's closest. Alright? We're not aiming for something that's far away, because that's letting their meat hooks get that much closer to us. Okay? Go for those hands. Go for those hands. Circle. Circle. If they reach for us, make them pay. If they reach, make them pay. Alright? You make them pay for every inch forward. That's how you fight a war, and you never make half a war. Alright? Don't be looking at their face when their hands are already within your zone. Okay? Because now, if I strike at something further back than their hands, guess what? They can jerk back. But their hands are closer than our stick is now. Right? Their hands are closer to us than our stick is to us. And they get a hold of that. And now what? Can you fight them for your stick? If I'm seated here and I have to have one hand trying to control this, or am I going to put both hands on this and then they're going to use my stick to pull me out of my chair? Or they're going to circle me and now use my stick to choke me to death. Alright? And I'm using to death. I'm using extreme examples. Because you know what? Every fight that I get into, that I have gotten into, I go into it believing that you're trying to kill me. Alright? And I fight accordingly. I'm not fighting for a 10-second on the floor. I'm not fighting for a count out. I'm fighting for my life. And I believe that's how we should go into it. You know? So, circling. Now what are our options? Without movement. Alright? First we'll cover that. We've talked about needing the circle. You practice that. You need to. Now, this is about as far as you're going to really be able to strike and have strength, okay? We have 180 degrees. Now I got to go easy here because I got my stuff. Let me see. If I lay down my monitor, that gives me a little more reach. Get that back out of the way. And I'll go ahead and choke up. So we have that movement, right? 180 degrees is where we can strike without moving when we're seated. So there's our strikes. Boom, we can strike there. Alright? At any level. And if you need more reach, then you can hold it in, you know, back off your balance point. But there we have less control and a greater likelihood of them gaining control of our weapon. So I prefer a strong grip over a long grip. So there we go. We can strike out, we can strike forward. How else can we strike forward? We can swing two-handed. We can do this, okay? And if you work this like a two-handed sword, then you can gain a surprising amount of power in a short swing without really having to draw back. What you'll do when you swing is pull back with your lower hand and push forward with that upper hand. So you're working this like a lever. Okay? This is how that'll look. You see? And that's without having to load up and come back, okay? You can have that stick there and you can get extra power with any kind of striking implement. There's a swing. Alright? And of course you have that crown, you throw it like a punch, and that'll also allow you the freedom of your other hand on your controls or the wheel. Alright? And now this is a strike that you gotta practice. Alright? That bottom-rat strike. I call this a crown. And it's just like throwing a punch. I've shown you this in other tutorials, so I won't go over that. You can look it up amongst the other tutorials. It's a very strong strike, and it can be modified. You check out Wmpyr's videos, okay? I've incorporated some of his ideas of teaching because they're very, very appealing, you know. So we have those angles that have existed that you see animals using, so we can strike down from angles, okay? So we got collarbone, collarbone, or neck, neck, temple, temple, crown, weapon hand, okay? We can strike in, and now, how do we incorporate this? If we're just doing a one-handed stick technique, what do we have for this, right? Boom. Have you been doing the Zombie Fighter Django workout? Have you been working those? Because all of those movements come to bear, okay? This is the samurai with the punch. Now this stick can come up. When you're coming up, that's an attack. If you're coming out of a back scabbard, you can go straight into attack, okay? Seated combat, as in all combat, your mindset is your number one asset. Alright? I want you to go in to your training and train like you're going to have to actually do. Alright? Don't let it be a lark. Don't let it be just a set of exercises like a bench press. Because this is different. Okay? When you're practicing these movements, I want you to visualize an attacker and what they would do. And don't make their attack suit the best case scenario. Make it terrible. You know? They're circling. You know? So fight. They suddenly juke fast before you can operate your wheel or your joystick. What are you going to do? Is it faster to do a stabbing attack and then, you know, because you need to keep them off of you. You need to keep distance, alright? Don't fall for all this craziness where you're going to grapple with them, alright? That's your last resort. That's your last resort. Okay? Before you ever get there, you need to be just fighting them off of you. You know? That's just what I want to impress that upon everybody, whether you're seated or standing, okay? So, that's It's about what I've got, okay? That's what I would like you to practice. You know, whether you're chair bound or not, that movement, because a single attacker, multiple attackers, they are not going to be courteous, they are not going to conform to that best case scenario. Not ever. This, I'm talking from experience, okay? I've never been in a situation where my attackers did what was best for me. They're always going to do what's best for them, and that makes it harder on us. So you need to train thusly. Alright? So okay, that's enough preaching. I don't want to preach it, y'all. Just practice. Practice knowing your limitations. What are my limitations, okay? What are my limitations? They're important to know. And practice that movement, okay? Practice getting that power into your strikes, alright? You're just going to throw it out and then whip. It's that mantis shrimp foo, alright? Remember, I got this all set up where it's like you're throwing a ball. You're throwing a ball and you're letting that stick, that impact implement, do the work, alright? So, we're not going to have all that hip and leg power. And most of the torque of our abs and back is gone. So what we are left with is up here. So, play to your strengths. Throw it out. Throw it out like a ball. And it will come down just a hard, wicked hit. Alright? Here. I was really hoping they'd hook me up with a chair, so then we could get out and have a... So here, hold this. I'm going to end up with a splinter. So what we can do, alright? Man, I probably shouldn't be using a stick that I want to sell. I scuff it up. Let me go get my own stick. Got burned sin black here. So how do we, you know, we can't be swinging and, you know, just a regular swing doesn't do it. When you don't have the rest of that behind, you don't have that mobility. So that whipping movement, alright? That whipping movement. Look at that, alright? Just let the speed and the weight of the stick do the work, alright? You just let it whip out there, alright? Just gets right in, tears stuff up with a minimum of effort. And check that out. That's how badass I make my gear. A scuff. Just a scuff. That's awesome. So that's it. With all your strikes, you put that movement into it, okay? Just throw it out like a stone. Just throw it out like a stone. I've got to be careful here because this will just smash right through everything. Throw it out like a stone. Throw it out like a stone, alright? Just throw it out like a stone. See? It's Halloween. Oh, my sale's going on too, so everything 20% off, and I've got things at really low prices right now, and like that. So check everything out, see what I got, and I want you to remember, the defense of your person is up to you. Do not rely on best case scenarios. Do not rely on outside intervention. Put all of those things aside and prepare for the worst. If you prepare and train for the very worst that can happen, you have that much better a chance of surviving whatever this world may throw at you. So, train accordingly. There's what I should have been using. A little smaller, a little safer. So here you can see this too. Let's find a nice clean spot. So if we just throw it out, okay? We're going to use that same movement, okay? Boom. Even with the small stick. It's much different than just swinging it like this, just swinging it down. If we just whip it out, use that bottoret, that Manny shrimp foo. I mean, look at that. I'm pulling chunks off now. And again, just scuffs. Just scuffs. How cool is that? So alright, I'm gonna let y'all go. I appreciate you coming by. Go ahead and check out the Paracaras. Do all your cool paracord or karambit type stuff with them. You got your 200-pound rated nickel-plated steel ring, your A36 3/16 skull, and just be good to yourselves, okay? Hold your heads up high, live free, and always, always, always punch hard. Ooh, even through the tape. Even through all the tape, look at that. These are really cool little suckers. So remember, be good to yourselves, alright? The impact. Ow, 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 ow. Up in the ribs. I dig you all, okay? And thank you for coming by and hanging out with me. Live free, punch hard, hold your head up high, because you are worth it. I'll catch you later.